welcome everybody to our latest Water Ambassadors webinar today. This is brought to you by Martin County and UF-IFAS Extension, by myself, Vincent Encomio, and my colleague, Lisa Krimsky. We're going to introduce the speaker in just a second. But first, we want to show you what our next offerings are for the months of July, August, and September. And then we're going to put the registration links in the chat as we go along. So feel free to register at any time. Next month, July 15th, we're going to have a presentation from Nathaniel Wynn, who's with the Florida Oceanographic Society, and he's going to talk about the water quality, their citizen science water quality program, and the data they've had over the years, through 25 years of citizen science collected data. So it should be interesting. August 19th, we're going to hear from Dr. Randy Parkinson from Florida International University, and he's going to talk about some of the sea level rise simulations that he's been working on. He's got some nice modeling efforts going, looking at the different sea level rise scenarios and how that affects the lagoon's health and the ecosystem services or benefits they provide to us. And then finally, on September 16th, Amy Eason from Martin County is going to talk about Martin County's integrated watershed master plan development. So that should be very interesting and, of course, timely with the month of September. So as in all of our Water Ambassador webinars, if you are people that have not been able to attend, will be able to catch the recording. And if you want to go back and view these yourselves, we will put these on our YouTube channel at UF-IFAS Extension Martin County. We've got all of our recordings so far for this year and then the past few years on there. So a lot of good content. Please check that out when you get a chance. We'll probably get today's recording up in about a week or so is usually what typically happens. And as we go along in our presentation today, please feel free to ask a question at any time by entering it into the chat. We will visit all of those questions at the end of our presentation today. But at any given time during the presentation, feel free to enter your question in that chat feature. And I'd like to introduce to you guys, to everybody, this is Mr. Michael Murphy. Michael is a horticultural technician with Martin County. He's been in this position since 2022. Mike is a FNGLA-certified irrigation technician who conducts oversight of right-of-way landscaping and nuisance vegetation in the county's stormwater treatment areas. He's got a lot of great knowledge of stormwater plants, aquatic plants, and native plants that will be beneficial for water quality improvement. Before he came to Martin County, or before he came to his current position, he worked in mosquito control. And Mike has a Bachelor of Science in biology from the University of Akron. And he's going to talk to you today. The title of his talk is Stories from the Landscape, Putting Water Saving Study into Practice and the Amazing Results. All right. Mike, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and go ahead and allow you to take it away.
Awesome. All right, like Vincent said, I'm the horticultural technician for Martin County. I've been in this role since January of 2022. I'm actually giving this speech in place of Carly Batts, who recently left us for greener pastures. And I gotta say, I am very excited about this opportunity to tell you this story. So I'm going to start you off with a quote from Lady Bird Johnson. This is something that Carly would use in a lot of her presentations. It goes like this. The roadway landscape is one we all see, where we all can have a mutual interest. In fact, it is the one landscape all of us share in our community and our taxes. Now, that is something that I really didn't appreciate when I first came to the county or this position. I didn't see all the different ways that the roadway landscape actually provides benefit. Some are a little more niche, some are more obvious. For example, the presence of trees generally enhance public perception and values associated with the landscape. There have been studies that show drivers passing through nature scenes show a reduction in stress. Roadway landscapes have a positive effect on air quality through the absorption of pollutants, sequestration of CO2. Our plants also sequester nitrogen and phosphorus, which would have otherwise ended up in the lagoon maybe a little sooner. Trees also have the benefit of adding shade to the asphalt, can reduce temperatures by as much as 36 degrees Fahrenheit. From a stormwater perspective, hard impervious surfaces will generate 2 to 6 times more runoff than a natural surface. So these runoff events can lead to an increased flooding, erosion, sedimentation, and just pollutants ending up in our waterway. So ideally, we would like to have the water rest in our green areas, over uncompacted soil, so that way it's allowed to drain into our aquifer. So the aquifer that we draw water from is called the Floridian aquifer. If you see on this map, it encompasses all of Florida. It reaches as far north as South Carolina, hits parts of Georgia, and hits the southern portion of Alabama. So Martin County has a population of about 160,000 people. We have multiple 1,300-foot walls drawing approximately 13.3 million gallons per day. This source supplies about 80% of our population, and about 70% of that fresh water is going to go towards irrigation. Now, I don't want you to think that this is something that is unique to Martin County. This is something that is an issue throughout the state of Florida, because we have lots of people using high volume from the same source. So Florida is the 5th rainiest state in the US. We average about 51 inches of rain per year. And only 13% of that is going to recharge our aquifer. We'll lose about 70% of it to transpiration. So that brings up a question. If we're only recharging about 13 inches per year, how much do we have left? To be honest, as far as I can see, it's unknown. What we do know, according to National Geographic, is that we are using water that is at least 26,000 years old, which I think is kind of crazy. So that begs the question, what is Martin County doing about this? So on June 12th, 2022, Martin County passed a landscape ordinance that applies to unincorporated Martin County. This ordinance addresses landscape irrigation restrictions and implements the South Florida Water Management District's Rule 40E-24. So essentially what that does is it limits the amount of days that you can water on established landscapes. So for Martin County residents, you're looking at 2 days a week, and the days are going to depend on which days or what your address is, actually, how your address ends. So if it ends in an odd number, you're looking at Wednesdays and Saturdays. If you're an even number, you can water on Thursday and Sundays. I want you guys to keep in mind that irrigation is supposed to be supplemental. It is not meant to replace rainfall. So if you're getting a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of inch per rain per week, you probably don't need to use your irrigation system. So some of the other things we're doing is implementing like low flow systems. We really want to reduce the amount of water that's being wasted and lost to evaporation. And you can do that by utilizing micro sprays and drip lines. These will ensure that you're delivering water to the plant's roots, so less water is lost. One of the things that we're looking into is implementing like smart irrigation systems. These will allow us to detect leaks sooner because they'll alert us of unusual flow patterns. And then finally, we are looking to utilize compost. And to be honest, that is the reason for this presentation. So one of the things that Carly did is she stumbled upon this lunch and learn put on by Dr. Bean. And in this study, they looked at houses in a development, and they did their best to, all right. So what they did is they looked at houses in a new development. They set up a control. They set up yards where they used compost, and they set up yards where they've tilled. As you can see, there's an inverse correlation between water content and pressure. And you can also see that compost holds a lot more water than either the tilled or the compacted soil. So as you can see, like on this photo, you can clearly see which one was treated with the compost and which one wasn't. The one on the left is the one that was treated. So that brings us to Florida soils, right? So this would explain why you're not seeing a difference in content between the tilled and the compacted, I would think, because you're looking at sandy soil. There are over 30 types of soil present in the state, but Myakka fine sand is the most extensive. It covers around 1.5 million acres of flatwoods. Myakka fine sand poses challenges in the landscape for us due to the fact that it allows for rapid drainage of water as well as nutrient leaching. It also lends itself, because it is sand, to problems with compaction, which also makes it harder to grow in your landscape. So as you can see from these illustrations here, the uncompacted soil allows for the roots to really reach out and hold more soil, where the compacted soil does not. You can see here that the uncompacted soil allows the water to drain down through the soil column, instead of running off into our roadways and into our stormwater systems. One of the things I found interesting from Dr. Bean's study was that the majority of the trees that failed in planting failed due to soil compaction. So that is something that you definitely want to have addressed before you go ahead and plant trees. All right, so that brings us to our area. So what we're looking at here is the Golden Gate neighborhood. As you can see, it's fairly close to the Indian River Lagoon. It's about 3/4 of a mile away. So for our project, you can see from these photos that you're looking at a landscape that is really aged out. You can see the exposed soil. We're using non-native plants. There's no irrigation present. Just at the time, it just wasn't a really great looking landscape. Unfortunately, we were limited in what we could do in terms of irrigation. We had to use potable water, which is not ideal. Generally you want to be using reclaimed there. But yeah. So during the project design phase, this is back in 2022, Carly learned about Dr. Bean's study. So in that study, he found that a 3-inch layer of compost could cut irrigation needs by as much as 55% and also reduce runoff by 25%. To make our project cost effective, she decided to go in an interesting direction. We used dredge materials actually to make our compost. So what we did was we worked with the transfer station to make sure that the dredge material was stockpiled and regularly turned. So this is a crucial part of the process because it gives microorganisms the oxygen that they need to thrive. All right, so before we go ahead and lay down our compost, we want to make sure that our irrigation system is set up, and we want to make sure that our lighting is addressed. We did that by using a solar panel that was reused to upgrade the power that was previously there. And now we're getting to the point that we are able to put down our compost. So as you can see from these results, we have a soil pH of 7.5. We have a organic matter percentage of 3.16%, and we have a cation exchange percentage of 31.8 milliequivalents per 100 grams of soil. So this soil sample was taken on 4/12/24. And why organic matter percentage is important is it tells you how much organic matter is in the soil, AKA how much moisture can this hold. So a good organic matter percentage for landscapes is generally between 1 and 3%. You know, you don't exactly need it to be black cow. So natural soils, like in Florida, can contain as little as 0.4% organic matter, and plants have still adapted to these conditions. So that brings us to the cation exchange capacity. So what a cation is, it's a positively charged ion. So an example of this would be like calcium, magnesium, potassium, hydrogen, ammonium. So the cation exchange capacity is the soil's ability to hold and exchange these positively charged ions. So to put 31.8 milliequivalents per 100 grams into perspective, loam soil, which is considered to be very good, has a range of 5 to 15 milliequivalents per 100 grams. All right, so now that we've got our soil sorted, we've got our 3 inches of compost down, we're ready for the plant palette. What we selected were native vegetation. So we want to keep the native live oaks, obviously. We ripped out the oleander and replaced it with Jamaica caper. We used sunshine mimosa and dune sunflower to really fill in the ground cover. And we used pink moly grass and bahia as our grasses. Now, what's neat about this is we had actually issues with our irrigation system. Things didn't exactly go to plan, and we did not lose one single plant despite there being no irrigation at this site for close to a month. I just think that's astounding. So here it is. Here's a picture of what it looked like once we were done. You can just see how lush the grass is. You can see the dune sunflower here. Actually, we have like a little picture here of, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but like a bee resting on it, which like brings me to my next point, why this matters. So native plants provide food for insects, which in turn provide food up the trophic level. So let's say birds, for example. There's a Florida study done with chickadees that showed parent birds were 86% more likely to nest and forage in yards with predominantly native landscape. Why? Well, I think it's because it's easier for the chickadee parents to find food. So they'll go out and they visited the site, or they visited their nest 150 times a day, with providing over 812 prey insects in over 16 days. And they didn't really have to move far. So they were only, they'd only go about 160 feet away from their nest. So this really helped with development of the chicks, you know, because if you have everything close by, you don't really have to work. You just really put that energy into feeding them. So what they found is that chick development was delayed 1.5 days where native plants weren't present. So I think you'll see this type of topic on the news a lot recently, the loss of insects, right? So that begs the question, how long would we survive without them? Well, prominent people think up to 3 months. We've made an enemy out of, something that is extremely valuable for us. They're important for pollination. They're a great food source for other animals. And like I said, you follow that up the ladder, their native plants are great at holding in soil. So without those insects, we don't necessarily have the plant base we need for other things, like even stormwater control, for example, right? So these plants that we're pollinating and spreading are used for erosion control. They're used for, so this prevents sedimentation. This prevents an influx of nutrients going into our waterway. Just like I said earlier, with that Lady Bird Johnson quote, there are a bunch of hidden benefits that we don't even think about. So this landscape was actually the first Florida-friendly gold level designation in the right-of-way in Martin County. And it just couldn't be done without people like Yvette Goodiel at the Martin County Extension Office, Joy Puerta at our CRA. Wendy Parker was very instrumental in helping us get this off the ground, and Greg Schomer, I believe, took over. And then we have our staff at Martin County, well, former staff in this instance, Carly Batts, myself, Todd Warren, Kylie Anchula, and Jeff Hunter. For more resources, you can reach out to Blowing Rocks. They grow all their own material and are extremely knowledgeable about salt-tolerant species. The House of Refuge, the Stewart Garden Club maintains a beautiful landscape design there. And you can, of course, check out our Ripple landscape in Old Palm City. It is definitely worth the trip if you haven't been there yet. Anyway, thank you for your interest in this project. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to meet with me. And I'll be taking questions if you have any.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Really appreciate that. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to enter them into the chat, or I think we could have people unmute too. Lisa, is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I do have one question. It is when you started the talk off about creating the compost, and I'm sorry, you said that was from dredge spoils.
That is correct. It was from dredge spoils.
Does the county have like do they provide compost for homeowners? Is that something that people can get?
Not currently, but that is something I would love to implement at some point in the future. I think that would be a fantastic use of our dredge material.
And what were some of the other materials that were mixed in besides the dredge material? Was it other organic matter and?
To be honest, I don't know the answer to that. I can find that out for you.
Mhm. Oh, we do have a question from Rhonda. Are the dredge materials tested for contaminants?
In this instance, they were not tested for contaminants. If we were to roll something out to the public, I imagine that that would be something that we would do going forward.
Great. Thanks. Thanks for your question, Rhonda. Are there any other? Feel free to unmute if you want to ask your question out loud. Oh, got another question here. What does Waste Management do with their green pickup?
To be honest with you, outside of like them piling up and seeing the piles, I don't know the answer to that. That is something that I can find out and get to Vincent. And we will put the answer to that in the comment section.
Yeah, great question. Because we do have yard waste pickups pretty regularly. I'm in the city of Stewart, and it's once a week. But yeah, what is I mean, is that material that can be used? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Cool. Oh, I've got a question here from Aaliyah. Can you go into why your project had a limit on irrigation? I think I missed it. The preference was reclaimed, but potable was used.
Right. It just was where we were, just the location. So we were in the median right there off of Indian and Dixie. So that's the only water that we had access to.
Oh, I see. I see. Yep. Thank you, Leah. Thanks for your question. And Michael, is that the only location that this, are there other locations that are planned, or other similar projects that you're working on?
So going forward, the vast majority of our projects are going to use this compost, I hope. We've recently used them on Bridge Road. And we've been using them like where we've been planting trees in other places throughout the county.
Okay. Are you using it on the project that you've been working on? If you want to let people know a little bit about that.
Okay, so I actually have a couple of projects going on. One of them we actually just finished. It was a big planting off of Map Road in our STA. We added a buffer zone, a cordgrass buffer zone, because we got a grant from the FWC. We did not use compost in that situation. The other project, I think the one that you're referring to,
Yes.
also looks at buffer zones in our stormwater treatment areas. We haven't done any replanting as of yet for that project. That is something that I definitely want to do there. But yeah, if you want to know more about those projects, I could answer those questions too.
Yeah, thanks, Michael.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I think we're good. Oh, I got one one more from Aaliyah. The buffer zone grant, she's referring to the buffer zone grant. Was it difficult to acquire?
No, it was insanely easy. So, I mean, I don't know that I should really call it a grant. So it's part of their Aries project. I will get that information to Vincent also, so other people can utilize it. What I did was I originally came up with a plant palette at the time that incorporated Vallisneria and Neotropicalis, Illinois pondweed, which is Potamogan illinoisis. I'm not the greatest at it, but scientific names, but as well as the cordgrass buffer. Unfortunately, nobody bid on the submerged aquatics. So we had to use all of that money towards cordgrass. So we actually do have just a beautiful cordgrass buffer zone.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like that'd be a great topic for the future. If you would be interested maybe for next year on buffer zones and those kinds of projects.
Yeah, definitely.
Very
We
cool.
definitely want to be incorporating those into more of our stormwater treatment areas.
Cool. All righty. Well, thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. That was some great information, and it's always great to learn more about what the county is doing, particularly with regards to improving water quality, improving the environment. It's especially the built environments. That's really, I think that's really important. And again, you scroll up in the chat, you'll see those registration links for our next upcoming webinars. Again, our next one is July 15th, and we're going to learn about citizen science water quality monitoring from Florida Oceanographic Society's Nathaniel Wynn. So again, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming to join us, and thank you, Michael, for your great presentation and for kind of filling in for Carly on relatively short notice. You did a great job.
Thank you
So much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. All right. We'll see you, and we'll see you all next month. Oh, I got one more thing here. Oh, okay, great. All righty. Guess we could probably